Today's date is March 20th, 2012. The time is 5:53 Nextel time. I'm here with Jim Post of the State Attorney's Office, 18th Judicial Circuit. I'm here with, and myself, John Batchelor, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The purpose and scope of our inquiry today is to conduct an independent follow-up with regards to the shooting investigation that has been conducted by the Sanford Police Department in your community. The inquiry is being conducted by agents of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement as well as investigators with the Office of the State Attorney. On February 26th, an event occurred. Was you here that day?
Yes, I was here.
Okay. And are you?
Yes.
Okay. Could you walk us through anything that any information that you may have from that day?
Yep, sure. At the time, we were watching TV. He was watching TV. I was sitting on the floor on the phone with IT on my work computer, and I thought I heard something outside. It kind of sounded like screaming. At first, I didn't worry about it because that time of day, it's not uncommon to still hear kids screaming, playing outside. But then I thought I was hearing what sounded like help, but not quite the end of help, just the first half of help. And so, I asked him to pause the TV, and we were listening, and it sounded like some male was definitely yelling help. And it kind of sounded like they were running towards us, but my perception of where I'm hearing something from is awful. So at that point, he got up and he went over by the back patio window, kind of opened the blinds. It was pretty dark outside, so he didn't see a whole bunch, so he opened the window some. I was still sitting right here in front of the TV. So, yep, right there, and it's on the right-hand side is where it opens from, closest to the TV. So we had the back patio light on. He opens it just enough to stick his head outside, and he yelled something along the lines of, "Hey, stop it." And then he said he was calling 911. I told him to hurry up and get his butt back inside and close the door and lock it and call 911. And at that point, I started, because I wasn't walking yet, so I was crawling, trying to get up the stairs and into the stairwell, because I didn't want to mess with crutches at that point. And he got on the phone with 911, and I went up the stairs, and on my way crawling towards the stairs, I heard what I thought was a rock or something being thrown at our window. So I thought they were coming after us. But apparently that was the gunshot that I heard. I've never heard one before. So that's what I thought it was. So we were hiding up in the stairwell on the stairs where we felt it was safest from whatever was going to happen. And I called the neighbors next door, and turned out they were already on the phone with 911 too. And then went all the way into the bedroom upstairs to look out the window. And he said, "Oh my God, someone's laying in the grass." It was something along those lines. And but then the next thing I knew, he said that the police were here. And once he said the police were here, I felt it was safe to come back down. But, that was all I heard. I heard some screams for help, help. It was clearly male. I have no idea how old that person was. I couldn't tell. I didn't hear any other words besides help. I didn't actually look outside until afterwards when they were doing CPR. So that was the first time I looked out the window. And that was it. After that, the police were here, and we just, sat around, closed our blinds so that we didn't have to see what was going on, and talked to the police every time they came to the door, and that was it.
Okay. In your statement that you just provided, you indicated kind of sounded like screaming.
Mhm. Yeah, at first I couldn't tell if it was just kids horsing around outside or not, so, but then it sounded like the words were forming help. So that's when I told pause the TV and listen.
Could you hear any other words?
No.
In your statement just now, you indicated you thought they were running towards you. Why did you think that?
It sounded like it was getting louder.
What was getting louder?
The screams for help.
So you felt that they were coming towards you because the sound was getting louder?
Yeah.
Did you hear any other sounds?
No, unfortunately I couldn't hear too much. Once I realized it was actually someone, saying help and just getting up to go look outside, I still had the IT guy on the phone, so I wasn't hearing a lot besides that.
You indicated that you called the neighbors next door?
Yeah.
Did you speak to them?
Yeah, next door.
Did you personally speak to them?
Yes, I was speaking with was the one that was on the phone with 911.
Okay. And then what was said?
Oh gosh. Let's see. I asked if they knew, what was going on, if they were home. And he said that I was on the phone with 911 and that they think someone had been shot. By then I'd already been upstairs in the hallway and I'd already heard what at the time I thought was a rock hit the window.
Okay, so your conversation, as you indicated in your statement with the next door neighbors, was subsequent to what you heard, the rock sound? Or
Yes, it was after that.
You indicated it was clearly a male.
Yes.
What makes you think that it was clearly a male?
If it was a girl, she would have been awfully manly.
So a deeper voice or just a lower tone?
Just a lower toned voice. I couldn't really tell age or anything, but it definitely sounded male. A girl is usually more of a high-pitched shrieking.
From the time that you initially heard, as you described, the sound like screaming, to the time that you heard the rock, as you indicated on the door sound, do you know about how long that would have been?
I would say maybe a minute. It was not long. It was maybe 30 seconds before we were pausing the TV and he was looking outside. And then he closed the door, and maybe 30 seconds after that, I hadn't even crawled all the way to the stairs, and I heard what sounded like something hit the window. So I would imagine a minute.
Okay. You indicated at the end, when you felt it was safe, you looked out.
Once I knew that cops were everywhere, yes.
How did you know the cops were everywhere?
Because he was upstairs looking outside the window.
Okay. And he told you?
Yeah, and he told me that. He said the cops are here.
You indicated someone was doing CPR?
It definitely looked like CPR. That looked like there were 4 or 5 people kneeling around the body. They looked like they were either cops or whatever they're called that drive the ambulances, or maybe a mix. But they definitely looked like they were professionals and they were in uniform.
Okay. You referring to as the body, was that the first time you saw this person or the body? Can you describe what you saw? How the person was laying or what the person was wearing?
As far as what they were wearing, I don't remember at all. I remember he was laying kind of at an angle like this, with his feet closer to the window and his head closer to the sidewalk, kind of at a diagonal. And he was like right on the corner. It was almost like right past the grill that we have on our back patio.
What position was he in?
He was lying flat on his back.
And just so I'm clear, you said head and feet. Can you describe what direction?
Yeah,
For
the head was at a diagonal towards a combination of the sidewalk and the neighbor's house to the left,
Okay.
with the feet being closer to our TV-ish area.
Okay. At any time did you look out during the noise?
No,
And at no time could you hear any words being said other than
what sounded like help, no.
as you indicated, help?
Do you know either person that was involved
No.
in this?
I don't know either person. I understand that George Zimmerman is head of neighborhood watch and everything, but we've never been to an HOA meeting. We just got the peephole installed, so I have a strict I don't answer the door policy. And so, yeah, I just kind of stay inside, keep to myself. So even if one of them had knocked on the front door, I'd have never answered.
How long have you lived here?
3 years in May.
I think that was all.
This is going to conclude the interview at 6:04 p.m. Nextel time.